This job is almost like a calling. You feel the need, you're drawn, it's your passion to do this.
For me personally, I feel like it's a calling, it's a ministry, it's an opportunity to serve. The decisions that we make will have a lifelong impact. The job that we do is very important. There's very little room or opportunity for mistakes.
This job is a hard job, but it's one where you can get so much satisfaction from it.
This is really not a typical 9 to 5 or an 8 to 4:30 job.
Well, I think the common stereotype is that DCS, they just want to take children from families. That's kind of the public opinion, is that, they just take these children away. Our goal is either to reunify or to find permanency for these children, either with relative placement or through adoption. Some of the everyday things that we do as caseworkers, always constantly staying in touch with that family. We go to the schools, requesting services that's going to help them to better their life situation, setting up medical appointments, dental appointments, helping with transportation if that's necessary, providing support to the foster families in making sure that those children's needs are met.
Communication is one of the biggest things in this job, and that's through email and returning phone calls. A huge impact on the child is proper documentation of what's going on with the child's life, because one day I may not be there. The next case manager needs to know exactly what happened and when.
Documentation is very important. If you don't have documentation that you went out to the home or that you had that phone call with that parent, it didn't happen.
Time-wise, it's probably 35% of the job itself is just making sure the documentation's right.
Everybody can't do it. Everybody can't stand to see kids who have been beaten, who are crying, who are sad. It takes a very special person to do this kind of work.
It's people's lives, and that's one thing you always have to keep in mind, that it's your job, but it's their lives.
You have to be patient. You have to be kind to people when you don't want to be kind to them. Probably the hardest thing for me to deal with is people screaming and yelling and hollering, and me having to constantly remind myself that they have needs that they're trying to have met. They're not yelling at me personally. It's a great big system that they're really angry at.
This job is not for someone who wears their feelings on their sleeves. If a parent curses you out, if a parent hangs up the phone, if a parent talks about you, don't take those types of things personally. Don't internalize those things. And I think case managers really have to be prepared to deal with people at their worst.
You have to have a tough skin. You can't let what the kids or birth parents say to you or about you really affect you.
And at times you have to be assertive. You have to be somebody that can be aggressive when it's needed. If it's with a service that's not being provided, or with a parent that maybe is not putting through the effort.
If you are someone who your feelings are easily hurt, if you're perhaps shy or timid, then maybe this is not the job for you.
When families come to us, they are in the middle of a crisis. First thing we try to do is establish trust with them, and that in itself is a challenge.
We try to build a rapport with the family, and we try to establish a relationship. We try to engage the family. We deal with families who have abused their children. We deal with a lot of domestic violence, sex abuse, post-traumatic stress issues, mental health issues, severe abuse, alcohol and drug issues, which oftentimes those are underlying issues that lead to the abuse or the neglect.
I have seen kids who've been burned with cigarettes. I have seen kids who have been beaten with broomsticks.
Families in crisis, some of their behaviors are bizarre sometimes.
For that worker coming in, it's their job to say, well, no, this is not the norm. This is not normal.
Some people don't recognize that there is a problem with it because that's all they know. So you have to respect each individual, whether or not you're in a low-income home or a suburb home, that each individual is a person and should be respected no matter what.
A new worker may see all kinds of things that they will find absolutely shocking to them.
You can find just about anything in any of these homes. You walk into some homes that are quite nice. People are polite, respectful, and sometimes you walk into really dirty homes. I've been in one home in particular where trash was piled up to the knees, and you had little walkways through it.
You have to put your own judgments and preconceived notions aside, because when you walk into a home, they're already threatened.
And hopefully by the time it's time for the child to achieve permanency, either through reunification or exit custody, hopefully the family has changed their minds about us.
They aren't necessarily bad people. Bad things have happened to them. But in most of the cases that I have worked with, these are parents who needed help, who really loved their children, just needed some help.
If a case manager is honest with families, if a case manager is genuine, usually families are able to say at the end of the day, thank you, I appreciate all that you've done for me.
That you always have to be aware of the F word, that F word being flexibility.
It'd be flexible, very flexible.
Sometimes the days are very stressful. You feel like you're pulled in lots of different directions. You just have to learn to prioritize.
We're scheduled to work 37 and a half hours a week, and I can honestly say there's no relaxed time in there. It takes 37 and a half hours a week to do the job that we do, and sometimes more. But at the end of the week, you know that you've made a difference in some people's lives.
One of the things that I didn't expect is actually what the on-call would entail. Being on call, you will carry a cell phone, and you have to have that with you at all times, 24/7. You're on call from Monday morning till the following Monday morning.
I would think you would need a good support system in place, because the calls come in at different times of night. So without a support system in place, and if you have family and kids, I think it would be a little difficult.
The job impacts your personal life a great deal. You can't say, okay, yeah, I'll be at home for dinner at 5 o'clock, because you don't know what might happen.
We're dealing with human beings, and it can't help but to affect you, and it can affect your personal life if you get so wrapped up in it that you don't take time for yourself.
Some days you leave feeling like you've been exposed to way too much yuck. And there's just no way to kind of wipe that out of your memory bank.
I don't know anybody that hasn't gone home and cried at night. You know, you do get involved with some of these cases.
This job will impact your home and personal life if you let it, just as in any job. Your main goal is don't take your work home with you.
So often people go through life and they're wondering, well, why am I here? What's my purpose? This is my purpose.
It's rewarding. I love to help people. I want to help people. I want to see a change in people, and I want people to do better.
The main thing that comes out of this is self-gratification, knowing that you have helped somebody, that you have made a difference in somebody's life, not just a child, but a family's life.
I really enjoy seeing the successful situations with children. Whether that is being reunified, the parents really get things together and they improve their situation and the children are reunited with their families, or if they find permanence through adoption.
When you see a family make a breakthrough, or a family realize that we're not necessarily there to hurt them or be mean, but to help them so that they can be better parents and raise their kids in a safe environment.
It's like it just clicks with them. It's like a light bulb goes off. They finally realize that the hard work and effort that you've put in with them, that it's finally paying off.
I have had times when I ran into a child that says, I was hoping someone showed up. And it was so rewarding to me that they believed in the process.
And to see these children's lives become safer and to work with the families to improve their situation, that's what makes it worthwhile, when you can see that positive improvement and that positive safety in their lives.
They really come to realize that, I actually I needed some help and things were not going well. And usually families do come to realize that.
I enjoy working with children and families, and I haven't been disappointed. There's a lot of them that need help.
And if you're that type of person who really wants to feel like you have touched someone, that you have and can make a difference, then by all means, this is the type of work for you.